Hey guys, just before the podcast starts, I just wanted to let you guys know that officially Needy Cosmicon and Cosmic Creative Productions has websites out. So if you're interested and you want to look at anything, whether it's the content that I make, future productions that are going to be in the making, then they will be there for you. You'll get a chance to see them before the production is actually released. So if you want to go and check out some of the things that are in line, feel free to do that. The links will be in the description of all of my accounts, so feel free to check that out if you're interested. Now, onto the podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to Talking with the Stars, where we talk with the stars about anything that's either that's lingering on my mind and that I'm curious to talk to you guys about. It's me, Nina. Hi. And if you're listening to this through Spotify, it's good to hear from you again. And if you're seeing this through YouTube, it's good to see you again. I'm going to be honest and say before I start that the podcast that was meant to be released this week has changed 3 separate times because So with what I was actually going to talk about in this podcast, I wasn't entirely sure on what I wanted to say, what I wanted to really produce, because I was at a loss of things that I wanted to say that could be meaningful topics that I thought would be fun to do. So the original podcast that was going to come out this week was one that I recorded before today. So you'll notice that in the podcast when I release it that the background or whatever is going to be a little bit different. It's because I recorded it before today, and also it's just kind of more of a you get to know me in the sense of what I like and stuff, because it's just more where I'm just kind of rambling about my favorite things. But I actually got an idea for a new potential podcast today, a new topic that I thought we could talk about today, because I did want it to be a bit of a lighter one after the one that was last week. If you are interested in seeing that one, you can feel free to check that out either after this podcast or right now. It's a really good podcast that I wanted you to sort of listen to if you've lost your spark and you're in need of something to sort of help you bring yourself back up, whether it's you've lost hope within your life or you're just having some problem, you just have some thoughts of possibly ending it. And so you can feel free to check out that podcast if need be. However, this one is going to be, you could possibly say, a bit of a connection to that one. This one is, I decided to make a list of positive mindsets to help view the world in a nicer way, just mainly because these are things that I've heard from both psychologists or psychiatrists, but also things that I have noticed I've put into my own sort of perspective when seeing certain things within the world, and have realized that it's genuinely helped me to just be a happier person on the daily basis. And I do like being a happier person. So if you want to take on any of these things, feel free to. It definitely helped me to feel a lot happier when leaving the house and be able to find the happy things within sucky days. Of course, not every day can be turned into a good day. Sometimes days will just be bad, and no matter how hard you try to think it's gonna get better, it won't get better. And sometimes we just have days like that, but you've just got to remember that those days will pass. But here are some things that can help you just to be able to wake up in the morning and go, it is going to be a good day. Or just when you're in certain situations and your immediate thought is to turn it negative, you can always turn it back positive just by teaching yourself that it's this way. It's X instead of Y. It's Y instead of Z. And Spirit's here with me to explain that with you guys. He is a little bit hidden because of the direction of the mic, but he is here. If you were worried, Spirit has come to join us. Do not fear. Do not worry. Let's get into it. So the first one that I have is everyone is experiencing their own things and are just trying to get by life and experience these experiences in their own way and enjoyment. how many times have you sort of been around, I guess, a group of people that have been making a lot of noise, a lot of kerfuffle, a lot of like just a lot of, even if it's a place where it doesn't necessarily, like there is no necessary requirement to be like quiet. How many times have you still listened to them and been like, gosh, I wish they just like were quiet. I wish they like, could just tone it down a little bit. You like, I guess in reality, or like when you think about it in another sense, you tend to sort of, when you notice that your own group is being loud, you tend to let it slip by, or you tend to ignore it and go like, this is fine, like this is completely chill, because you know these people and you know the context of why they're so excited and why they're so like jumpy and loud and all this sort of things. I'm just going to move down the mic. There we go. Hopefully I'm a bit clearer now. I just noticed that it's tilting like away from me and I'm like, however, I think that when you're near someone that even if they're experiencing the same thing and they're showing it off by being loud and being excited as well, you, because of the fact that you don't know what they're talking about and the first thing that you are like thinking is, oh, they're just like really loud and stuff. The first I guess thought that comes into your head is you want them to be quiet, like, oh, like shut up, be quiet, you're so annoying. When in reality, everyone, of course, is going to experience excitement. They're going to be loud. They're going to get excited. And you can't be angry at that. You can't be frustrated at that. Imagine if you got excited over something and someone came over to you and asked you to be quiet. Of course, there are spaces where you need to be quiet and it's just common courtesy to be quiet. Like if you're, for example, I guess if you're like in either sacred spaces where it's required to be quiet, for example, like for example, like libraries and whatnot, it's better when you're quiet, but places where it's like you're just in the open, or you're just in public transport, you're just at like a park or something, you're in school, and you hear these people just being really, really loud, and you think, God, I just wish they could be quiet. I want you to remember that they are their own individual people that are experiencing something exciting, whether if it's just simply, oh my God, like I get to see you again, friend, or if it's something more like, guys, I've had this like amazing achievement, and everyone's like, yay, that's amazing. I think if you're not aware of the context, you're not a part of that group, you may be like, guys, you're just like being really loud, but in reality, they're just experiencing their own things. And this could happen with anyone. It's like similar to when you notice someone's like running and you're like sitting there going like, oh, they're taking up like space and things like that. Or like, why are they running? Like the truth is they have somewhere to be in a given amount of time. They might have been like, I'm so sorry, but I've just got to squeeze into this little space and stuff. And I think it's not fair to give the just immediate reaction of just like, oh, they're being like really obnoxious, really annoying, really this, really that. And just remember and understand that everyone has their own things going on in their life. And I have a very, very good story that actually made me realize this. I'm just going to quickly take off my jacket because my jacket is cute, but I am a little bit hot. Whoa, I've got arms. Oh my God, my arms. So a very good example of this was I was going home one time. I was at my like local shopping center and I was going home, and I take the public bus when I'm going home because I could technically walk home from where I'm coming from, but nah, why do that? And that day I wasn't feeling the best in terms of like, I guess mentally I wasn't feeling like the greatest, and I was sitting there going like, oh, I'm just like really exhausted. I just need silence. It's just just not feeling great. And especially when you're in that period of time where it's like, I just need silence. I just need everyone to be quiet to be able to like just clear out my head, like get rid of all these thoughts, like just kind of try and get a little bit better in terms of how I feel. And the public bus is probably one of the worst places you can go on if you want that peace and quiet, because it's just, it's just people talking, like, because it's like a public space. You're allowed to be loud in a public space. There is no sign telling you that you have to be quiet on the bus. It says obviously you don't scream at the top of your lungs like you're in a concert, but you're allowed to speak. There is nothing telling you that you cannot speak. So And I guess in that moment, I definitely was feeling, because I was feeling a bit negative, I was like, I wish that in this moment, a rule would just suddenly appear where everyone just had to be quiet in my presence. Like, you just have some of those days. And I will admit that it's definitely not the best way to think. This was a while ago. Like, this was while ago. It's not a very recent, like, story. I still, like, with the thought that I was talking about before, I still have that thought. Just the thoughts of, like, oh, I need everyone to be quiet. I don't have as much anymore, because I think of the fact that everyone is just, living in their own sort of, like, their own perspective of the world. So I was sitting there, like, I was on the bus, and I was like, why is everyone just being so loud? And I decided just in that moment for, like, just to see if it would calm me down a little bit, being like, okay, if everyone's going to be so loud, let's just see why they are loud. Because in all honesty, no one's just sitting on the bus going like, ah! Like, it's obviously just simply like there's something going on. No one's going to be sitting on the bus just screaming their head off. So, and I think it was kind of like, just a good learning, like, experience for me to sort of understand this stuff, because, like, rather than just being cranky the entire time on the bus, being like, I want to get is annoying, I decided to just observe all the little groups and individuals on the bus and just acknowledge and see how, like, even though they're so loud and I'm super, like, uncomfortable by that, what exactly are they doing to be loud? And this was what I gathered from looking around. Now, I know that in reality, I kind of just essentially eavesdropped in the conversations, but it's very, like, general stuff, and I want to explain to you what they were speaking about, which really changed my perspective on this, because I'm sitting here going, like, you're being loud, you're being obnoxious, you're being annoying. This is actually what happened. So, one of the groups that was there was a mother with 2 kids, and those screaming, annoying kids that a lot of the time you would generalize kids to be just like these little, like, gremlins that are, like, anxious. I'm saying this because there are a lot of people who have tried to explain children like that to me. In reality, they were actually talking to an elderly person who was sitting across from them in the courtesy seats, just asking questions about, I guess, the grandmother's experience, like, just living on this earth, just like curious kids that they were. And I was thinking, and I was like, that's just such a beautiful, cute thing that these curious kids are just talking to these people, and these people are responding in, like, respectful ways, because obviously you don't want to just scream at a kid going like, stop talking to me. But it was just really sweet, because I guess you would say, oh, kids are annoying, but they weren't actually being annoying in, like, this situation. Kids are just simply curious, like people, like, curious young people that just speak because they just want to know about all the things that are on their minds, and they just want to be like, I want to know everything. They're not annoying, they're just curious. And then going to another, like, group, I saw there was these 2 young teenagers who were in front of me. And I feel like when you hear the word teenager, especially, like, younger, like, teenagers, you sort of go like, oh, like, they're entering their rebellious, like, era and things like that. Again, another assumption about teenage girls, when in reality, it was just a wholesome little, like, like, moment of, like, young love and whatnot. Because listening to it, what I could basically make out was there was this guy that this girl, had feelings for, and he reciprocated those feelings when they were going out that day. So the 2 girls in front of me were just sitting there being excited for that one girl who, like, experienced, like, oh my gosh, this, like, I don't know if it's her first crush that reciprocated her love or not, but the point is that that's exciting. Like, someone that you have a crush on, someone that you love, loves you back. That's such a beautiful, like, feeling. Then after that, I was like, well, like, these exciting things are happening. Let's look at one more person before I just look outside the window and go, okay, I'm satisfied. So I looked to the left of me and saw a man who looked like he just maybe finished doing some, like, errands and stuff. And I think, especially in this day and age, a lot of the times men are just, like, even though there are some, like, you know, some men out there that are just like kind of like annoying and they suck and whatnot, it's not all men. Just like exactly like how in any sort of like gender, like in any sort of like demographic, there's always going to be some people that are like annoying. This man who was being like really loud and could be like annoying and like, you know, like obnoxious or whatever, like I know those are some things that I've heard and I'm like, damn, like that's kind of like, oh my goodness. But I looked and I was like, what is he doing on the phone? And he was on FaceTime with his wife. And when I noticed that he was on FaceTime with his wife, I don't know what they were talking about. And the reason why I'm assuming is his wife is because when I was looking, the like woman had passed her phone to these kids, and the conversation was basically like both of them screaming because it was on speaker, and like the kids were going like, hi dad, and he was like, I'm coming, like, hey, like kids, I'm coming home, and it was just like that in itself was cute alone. That in itself was enough to make me go like, oh my god. So all these assumptions that we have about like teen girls, grown men, like kids, like really young kids, is not like it. We need to cut those assumptions out because it's not everyone. Of course, it's definitely the loud minority, but it's not everyone. And when I realized that all of these loud, obnoxious, annoying people were actually just simply being excited over their own stuff in their life, it suddenly just made that day so much better. Like that bus ride was probably one of the best bus ride experiences I've ever had. And back then when I used to use like music to kind of drown out all sounds from people because it was being super, like, you know, because it just made me feel better, I was able to sit on that bus ride just feeling like happy because everyone else was happy. And I was like, there's nothing really going on in my day, but someone else is having a good day today, and that feels great, and it makes me have a good day. That like, even if good things are not happening to me, good things are happening to other people. And that really changed my perspective about going absolutely anywhere. Like sitting in a bus with a group of people, statistically at least one person would be having something good happening to them. There is no way that everyone is experiencing stuff like bad and whatnot. And I think it was such a beautiful moment to like be sitting there and going like, all these people are having such beautiful moments and I am somehow present in that. That is exciting. And I guess just knowing that everyone has their own stuff going on, it really helped me with when like people would be walking around me being really loud or being like quote unquote obnoxious. They were actually just they're just experiencing an emotion, expressing an emotion in a way that would be a little bit different to me. Like if I'm excited, I become really loud and I go like, yeah, and then another person might keep that happiness and that excitement internal. I'm not going to be like, oh, like they're just like really calm and like a part, like, you know, like a like not a hater, but like, oh, like they're just like a downer and stuff, or they're not going to look at me and be like, oh, like she's super obnoxious and annoying. Like it's just everyone experiences every single thing in a different way, and I think we've just got to be aware and conscious of that. Obviously, if people are sitting there being like loud within places where it's actually disrespectful, you can be like, hey, that's not really the best thing. But I think if it's a public area where they're allowed to be loud, you should not be hateful on the fact that they are, you know, being a little bit like, even if you need that quietness, you've got to remember that not everyone is going to be identical to you. Everyone's going to experience things in a different way. And I think it was just really beautiful to know that even though I wasn't having like the nicest day, there was other people that were also having good days. And even though I don't know them, it's like, that's exciting. Like people are having good days. We love that when people are happy and having good days. Like that's my honest opinion. And yeah, that's one thing. So just a little recap. Everyone is experiencing their own things and are just trying to get by life and experience these experiences and emotions in their own way and enjoyment. Now, the next one that I actually don't have listed, but it kind of came into my mind while I was just saying that one, because I mentioned it a little bit before. Just quickly, another thing is that I think is really important. You may, in a moment of time, you may be experiencing like, you know, sadness, grief, like negative thoughts, negative moments and stuff. Maybe a day is bad and it sucks. And I know that it's awful and that it's like, it takes a toll on you mentally, but time is transience. And that means that time doesn't last forever. So even though a day might be bad, that day is not going to be bad forever. And I think this is an important thing to know. Like stress that you may be experiencing, grief that you may be experiencing, of course you want to help yourself try and get out of it, but it's not going to stay forever. And by taking that, I don't think you should just be like, oh, well, I'm like severely upset, but I'm just going to hope that it goes away tomorrow. You want to do things that can comfort you and make you feel better, but I don't want you to believe that because you are feeling this and that the day is bad, it's going to be bad forever, because you never know what the world holds, and you never know. The day might get better, time's going to pass, and it's just like things will change. Things will essentially change. I don't have too many dot points for that one, but I think it's an important thing to remember. Things will happen. Time will not stand still. Like you're never going to be in a point of time where you're you're experiencing something really hard on you, really bad, and then time's just going to stop just like that. It's never going to do that. Time is transient. It's going to pass, and moments won't stay there forever. And I guess you can also take that with the good moments, which brings us to our next stop point that's actually written down. I can talk more about. Enjoy what you are doing and what you have in the moment. Don't stress about the future or what it holds. So the further you look into the future, the more you start to freak out because you don't have enough information in the present time to get a good answer on what's going to happen in that future that you're trying to look to. The further you get away, the less you're going to have a chance to get it right, and the more that it's going to freak you out. And a lot of people experience that because for example, I can tell you what I want to do next year. I have so many plans on what I want to do next year, and so many things. Once January comes around, so many things are going to happen. I will, however, not be able to tell you what I will be doing after uni, which will take a good amount of time to finish. I will not even be able to tell you where I will go once I am retired. I don't even have a full-time job yet. No way am I going to retire anytime soon. And again, it's too far into the future. I can't tell you what that future holds because I won't have I don't have enough information to grasp that and be this is I know exactly what's going to happen. I know exactly where I'm going to go because things will change. Something might happen. Something might come where it completely changes the whole outcome of what it will completely change no matter how many times you try to write it down and try to be it's going to happen, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Wishing, you can wish and you can be hopeful, but wishing enough times, it won't immediately manifest and it won't solidify. If you go I'm going to do this enough times, it's not going to solidify and it's not going to become this is exactly what's going to happen exactly the way that you want to. And it might suck, but it's just what's exciting about life, that something even better might come. You might be settling for something that might not be the best. Something even better comes along and you're oh my goodness, I wasn't even expecting this to ever happen. Spontaneous things will happen, and sometimes life won't be able to fully be fully navigational no matter how many times you try to write it on paper. And I also have another example for this, and I know that it might suck hearing this, and for me it might suck saying this, but it's the truth, and I'm not upset about it. It's not sad to me. I think that it's a wonderful thing because then I get to enjoy it even more in the moment. So I don't know if Nini Cosmic Con will continue, will succeed. It's a really exciting thing to me because I get to do so many fun things. I get to do drag. I get to make content for the queer community. I get to make content on mental health. I get to show you guys the things that I want to do. I would love for this to be possibly something that I can do which could become my job, because it's also a flexible thing which will help me achieve other things that I want to do in the future, such as things as charity work and whatnot. Because if I get a full-time job in like corporate work and whatnot, it's going to be a lot harder to try and like fit that in. And I do really want a job where it's like I'm my own boss, I'm extremely flexible. So like, Cosmic Creative Entertainment, Nini Cosmic Con would be a fun thing to become my full-time job. But just like what I said before, the world's spontaneous, I don't know. For all I know, Nini Cosmic Con could completely crash. Cosmic Creative Entertainment could just disappear for no reason whatsoever. Or something better might come for me in the future, which will cause me to want to change my like ideas for what I want to do in the future. And like, but no matter how many times I like wish and I go like, yes, 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 all I can do is just keep going and keep enjoying what I do, because it's not 100% like certain that it's going to be what I do forever. And it's like, I'm enjoying it a lot. Trust me, guys, this is essentially what I want to do forever, and I'm going to keep working to get that. But I don't know if it will stay the same. Essentially, I don't know. It could be completely different. It could stay exactly the same. It might be me in the future, or like, let's say out of the absolute blue, it's not even me that you see in the future. It might not even be Nina. It might not be like Asher. It might be someone completely different that you don't even know. And I think coming back to that, so like that idea of like social media and whatnot, I feel like people might be able to agree with me when they hear that there's this one trend that I feel like will get the idea as clear as possible. It's the one where it's like when people will go like, whoa, this content looks cool, you must have so many followers. And it's like, reduce your expectations to 0. And then they show the amount of followers that they have. And sometimes the followers will be massive. Like it will be 1K, 3K, 10K and whatnot. And it's like, you're just looking at it and you're going like, it's like, that's a really good number. Why are you complaining? And I think you should just be grateful for like whatever you get, because if you keep going like, I want more, I need more, like I need this to be like exactly what I want, which is to be completely like successful and stuff. It's just like, it's not going to be as fulfilling for you. And you can't keep worrying going like, I need to like in the future I want like this many stuff. Like it just happens, and sometimes it won't work at exactly what you want, but you've just got to enjoy it in the moment and not worry about, will this like affect me in the future, like yes or no, or will this do this in the future, yes or no, because like it's not healthy. You gain an unhealthy attachment to this. And the example that I had, like just a random example, is like, oh, like you might have like this gorgeous project that you've been working on and you post it. It could get 10,000 likes. It could get 10 likes. It could get 1 like, and that 1 like could be your mother. Or it doesn't get any likes at all. It's just chilling on the internet. And I think rather than no matter what number you're getting being like, oh, it's not enough, I failed, you can say like, so many people liked my work, I got a whole 10K likes, because it's a lot. Or people liked my work, I got 10 likes, like 10 people looked at this and went, wow, that's amazing. And yes, I know the comparison of 10K to 10, you would think that the 10K is higher, but I think the 10 is just as valuable, because like there's still people out there that are going, wow, this is amazing. And you just keep going. You keep going like this, like, at least I know, like, people are liking this. Let's keep going. Let's keep trying. Maybe like with the, like, maybe you got 1 like and it was just your mom. Like, instead of being like, oh man, like your mom cared enough to follow you and be like that like on your post. You do have a fan, and it's your like family. Like your family's always there to be like, yeah, you've got this. Sometimes they won't be, but there's going to be someone out there. Or even if it's like no one liked it, you don't have to be upset that it didn't get any likes. You can be excited that you finished the project. You finished what you're doing. Like, I guess coming back to like the productions and stuff that I want to do, my honest opinion is that I actually don't know if anyone's going to see it. I don't know if anyone's going to see my, like, I don't know if anyone's going to want to see my movie, if anyone's going to want to see, like, short films if I make it in the future or whatnot, because, like, it's completely like, again, back to the whole, it's unpredictable, it's spontaneous, I don't know what's gonna happen, and that's completely okay. Sometimes out of nowhere things just woo, or sometimes out of nowhere things will fall, and that's entirely okay. I just want to work towards finishing it because I know for a fact that ever since I was younger, I wanted to make a movie, and this is my chance to do it with the tools that I know, like with the tools and the techniques that I know how to do it. And I think that should be the important part of it. It's not at all how like famous it gets. It's just simply enjoying that moment of like stuff that you're doing. And I realize this is very much getting on track, but I think it's just as important. Just being able to enjoy that and not have to worry about like, oh, if I don't get a million likes now, what's going to happen in the future? The future has so much that it's holding. You have no idea what's going to happen. And I think that it's just important that you just keep working. Whatever you're doing, just keep doing whatever you're doing and do not worry about what's going to happen in the future. Just enjoy it in this moment. Just enjoy it in this moment. Have so much fun with it. That's what I'm doing with Cosmic Creative Entertainment. I'm not looking at trends. I'm not looking at anything. I'm not trying to like be like, oh, what's gonna do well or what's not gonna do well. I'm just posting stuff that is really enjoyable to me and posting stuff that will genuinely, like, when I make it and finish it, I'll go, yes, this is exactly what I want to do, and I did it. That's essentially how you're going to feel that you're going to work a lot better when you want to post stuff online. If it's purely just for the likes, purely just for the engagement, purely just you wanting to be famous, you're not going to have as much fun with it. You're going to feel a lot more mentally exhausted, as opposed to if you did it because it's something you genuinely enjoy. Yeah. Sorry, the last dot point was what I essentially just said, but slightly worded. I'm going to skim over that because it just goes into more depth about how this like account really started, and then me changing like two different things to like the mental health videos and stuff. But it's not the most important because I sorry, I mentioned this in the podcast that I recorded yesterday. It's going to come out afterwards. So this account, you guys would know, originated from cosplay, but the reason why I chose cosplay was because of how it was considered the safest option at the time when I was looking at it. Because I don't know what I was thinking when I first started this. But one thing I was thinking was, let's do cosplay because everyone else that I know is doing cosplay and they're doing good and stuff. But the truth is that it doesn't matter how I do. Like, I am thankful for like the followers and the like that I have, like the fact that more than one person sees me, like that's amazing. And like I know I have friends that are like, oh, I listen to your podcast, I see your stuff and I love it. That's all that I need. And if I get more people like that, like more people that aren't from my home city and people that are like maybe from a different continent, that's insane. And I love you guys so much for doing that because I'm genuinely doing what I like purely enjoy. And I don't know if I'm going to continue this in the future, but God, I really hope that I can continue that because it's going to be the most exciting thing for all of us. And we're going to have heaps of fun together because I have so many more things in the future that I would like to do. Of course, not entirely sure, but like I would like to. And I have like vision boards and stuff. Don't have a time limit, just it's there if I feel like it. And I guess something that's similar to that, which is my next point that I have, or my next thought that you can put into like perspective. The small things are what you should be focusing on, not the big things coming in the future, or not the big things that are like consuming your mind. This is more so in the present moment of like, as we all know, like civilization, urbanization, there's just so many things going around, like along, like you've got school, you've got work, you've got social media, everything is just consuming your time. And I just feel like that a lot of times people do not have the chance to be able to indulge themselves in something that's like small but so satisfying and good for your mind. Like very small things which could be seen as boring are actually like the things indulging yourself in can make you feel 10 times better. And I have another example for this. Again, like I said, because it's the thoughts that I have come up with, all the examples will come back to me, but then you can obviously, if you want to, take these thoughts and adapt them into your life. So, new example for this one about just enjoying the little small things, especially if you have like bigger picture stuff that could be taking away like all of your like happiness, sucking like the, you know, like the bubbly like self out of you potentially. So at school, I'm not the biggest fan of school. I'm not a very academic person. I try my best in school. Like, I guess when I put it into retrospect, it's like 7 hours of my day is spent locked inside a room. I love, love, love being outside and just enjoying stuff. And it's like, it sucks when it's like I have to spend so much of my time sitting in a room learning stuff that I may not be the most interested in, and I just have to do that for 5 days a week. And even though I'm approaching the end, it's like it's still a little bit like, oh, like it's just taking a lot out of me, especially because each one of those five, six subjects are telling me to do the exact same load as each other, which you would usually do in a single subject in uni. I have talked about this before. I am still in school because I was talking to you guys about the Pride events that I would have at my school. So yeah, and I guess being cooped away in a room can definitely cause me to feel a bit like tired, fatigued, want to like get out of there, just hate the circumstance that I am. And I thought, no more. Let's do something that makes me happy. So like I don't like to I try to not focus on that specifically because, you know, that's just a bunch of like negative like thoughts that aren't really helping me in the moment. So I changed it to this. Whenever I have like free periods, whether it's a double free, a single free, or whatever, I decide to sit outside instead. I sign in. So I sign in at the library because they just need to know that your attendance is still present, like within school. But outside our library, there is this gorgeous courtyard that has tables and seats, and the sun hits it perfectly. And obviously, when you're sitting in the sun, you just feel so warm. You feel so nice, getting all that vitamin in. And I just like to sit there and I like to work. Now my laptop dies really quickly, so I hope that it's my first 2 periods or my first period and not like my 4th where my laptop's gonna die. But I always make sure that my laptop's charged before I go and sit out there, because especially like days where the weather is like beautiful, I like to take advantage of that by sitting out there and looking at it, because then all the like, you know, all the insects are out, all the like animals are out, the trees are looking beautiful, and it's just a really nice environment to at least try and get some work done. Do I get work done? I would say yes, but also no, because I get distracted by everything that's there. But yeah, and like sitting outside with listening to all of like the natural noises also limits how much music I listen to and my phone usage, because a lot of the times when it's like, again, linking to that other idea of like everyone being loud and stuff, I used to try and just kind of focus in a room where I'm starting to get really fidgety and like I want to go outside. I would pop in music to try and like silence that, but obviously doesn't work. And it limits that usage because I'm just listening to the natural sounds around me, whether it's just like birds chirping, whether it's just the wind, the sky, planes coming over me. Maybe it's other classes, like sports classes, having fun, listening to everyone just like having a good time, like laughing, you know, screaming and stuff. And it's just like having those 1 to 2 hours where I can just be in a different sort of environment rather than being cooped up inside. Because again, when I do like all my other stuff, like productions, like when I do the animations and when I do like the video recording, you'll notice I'm inside anyway. So that's a lot of time spent inside. So I try to use every moment that I can where I'm not doing like this stuff that could be potentially consuming my time, consuming my brain and everything, to just be outside, whether it's meditating, whether it's like moving my work outside, whether it's literally just sitting there and doing absolutely nothing. It's so much better to just do it outside for me. And like, again, like appreciating appreciating the small things is a small and easy yet super effective way to help you feel mentally at peace. You don't need to constantly be working at the speed that pressures within like the modern world is causing you. You are allowed to take a pause and just bring yourself back and then get back to it. Yeah, okay, maybe on that project you're doing, someone is already finished and you've written the word "the" at the beginning, but if it's not due tomorrow, I'd say if you need it, take a step back and just take a deep breath in and take a deep breath out and just enjoy the small things. Like, we are blessed to have nature around us, even though we keep wanting more material things like buildings and stuff. The trees, the grass, all the like cute little insects and animals are just waiting for you outside. Obviously don't step on them, but like just like looking at them and being like they're gorgeous is just all you need to make that feel like to just make a day feel better, at least for me. And during one of those like study periods, little cute story. I don't know if insects can communicate to you, but I feel like they can because it was really cute. And it's like, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed looking at it and going like, you are the cutest thing ever. There was this ant that had gotten onto like my laptop, and I was like, oh, like, hello there, little buddy. So I let it just kind of like crawl around my laptop while I was like typing. And I know it could be like, oh, like there's an insect just chilling on your laptop. I don't see the problem with them, because by definition, like, we are also technically like animals ourselves. It's like if I went up to another animal, like a dog or something, and then went like shoo shoo, it's just another animal, with the like difference that one is like an itty bitty tiny thing, and I'm like this, compared to it specifically, this huge animal. And at one point it was trying to get off because I had like shuffled the laptop forward so I could continue typing, and the ant was trying to get on the table, and I don't know if it was trying to say something to me, but it started like turning its head in my direction and just waving its little arms and like looking back at the table, trying to see if it could possibly take the leap of faith, realizing that the leap of faith is a stupid idea, turning back to me, waving its arms again. And I'll be honest, if I see an animal constantly waving waving its arms in my direction, I'm going to think that it may want something from me. Because similar to other animals, like domesticated animals, for example, dogs, they don't turn to you and go like, I am in need of your assistance. What they'll do instead is they'll do things like they'll like I guess put their paws on your leg or something. They'll jump up and try and get your attention. They'll sometimes even bark or like whimper and stuff, because some animals don't have the same communication strategy like us. Like, we can speak verbally, we can very easily go, I need help with something. Dogs, cats, whatnot, they don't have that verbal communication. They only have the limited sounds they can make. Then insects, reptiles, things like that, they don't even have noises they can go off of. Even like rodents, like I don't know. I found it very strange when I found out a rabbit or a bunny can be considered a rodent, but they don't have noises that they can make, or very limited noises, where the only noise that they can make is literally when they are about to, like, when they are in that much danger that they think they will die in that moment. But yeah, so they communicate in other ways, like, getting our attentions by doing more actions. Like, if I want someone to notice me, I'll just scream their name and just be like, hey, like, can you see me? I won't be like I'm not waving my arms like dramatically, because I don't need to. I have that ability to say just, hey, like, I'm over here, and my button undid. Like, hey, I'm over here, like, can you see me, or whatever. And yeah, so I moved my laptop and I tried to put it like leveled to the table, and the ant just walked straight off and just walked away. So, like, tell me that the ant wasn't communicating to me. Like, that sounds like it really wanted to get on the table and I fulfilled its wishes. But it was just like, it took time out of my study, but it was just a really nice thing to just kind of witness. Like, I basically maybe communicated to an ant. Did I actually? I don't know. But yeah, just enjoying the very small moments or the very small things that you can have will build on your ability to be grateful and like practice gratitude. And I think gratitude is one of the biggest things that we talk about, where it's like you need to be grateful for everything that you like have, because obviously becoming greedy and just wanting more and wanting to consume like more will cause, you know, devastating like results within like your life. And I do agree with that, because just wanting more and wanting more, you will never find that fulfillment. You may get that short-term high because you have something new, but then you'll want something more, and you'll get into this pattern where it's like when you get old, like when you get sick of something or you get old of it, you just want the next best thing. And sometimes you can't just keep getting the next best thing. Sometimes you need to just stop and enjoy what you do currently have. And I think that's the reason why we start to run into so many problems, because we just want more and we want more. And I was watching this really good video. If you haven't heard Psych2Go, highly suggest you like watch them, because they actually make some very good points within psychology. They say that spending more, like they say that the biggest accepted addiction is like spending more, not doesn't have to be money, but spending more than you can give, obviously, is one of the most accepted addictions, in the form of buying assets and just giving all of your time to social media. They say that it's an addiction that is very much overlooked because of how normalized it is. I believe it was on average, people in America every 5 days buys a new piece of clothing. And that is a very, very concerning number in a sense, because that like there's a lot of days in the year. That's a lot of assets to be spending like money on. And the problem is that that statistic ranges from just like little things to expensive purchases that may not have even been needed in the first place. And they were explaining how sometimes you just need to step back and appreciate what you have in that moment, rather than wanting the next best thing, wanting more. And that doesn't mean that you have to fear spending or fear wanting something else. If there's something that you need or something that you just kind of want, I think that it's okay to buy it. But constantly craving a new thing or constantly wanting the next best thing is where it starts to get extremely unhealthy. I do believe that it is important to, however, like be thankful of what you have in this moment, and just like be like experience what you have in this moment, like the small things that you have in the moment. And again, I think I've like kind of come away from the original dot point that I had, which was the small things are what I stayed on it. Like the small things are what you should be focusing on, not like the big things that are like, especially if it's like temptation or outside forces that are causing you to like do this, like to feel this certain way. Just reel yourself back into your own sort of mindful space and just think, is this really what I want? Or is this just because I've seen someone else with this thing and now I feel inclined to buy it? Nowadays with like social media and stuff, we feel like we are inclined to buy things that we don't necessarily need. And sometimes you could just step back and be grateful of the things that you do currently have. And if you are feeling as though you want to step back and just kind of be grateful of the stuff, that's great. I'm grateful that you feel grateful. But yeah, gratitude is one of the most important things that I think you should, as an individual, practice. And just slowing down, even if life is such a fast paced thing, just slowing down and being like, I want to try out this thing, I want to experience like this, if you just want to step back and just essentially like be thankful in the moment for what you have, or just connect with like where you are in the moment, do that. If you want to walk outside and just kind of look at the outside world and be like, I'm grateful that this is what I have, do that. And I guess coming from someone who is very passionate about like the environment, protect it with all of your costs. It's like literally it's free therapy. I kid you not. Walking outside and just taking that time away from like, technology like things, taking that time away to just connect with nature is one of the best things that you can give like to yourself. One of the best things to help you just like ground yourself and feel so much better. If you can do it, because it's one of the best feelings ever. Like ever. Yeah. I guess those were the 3 main points that I have. Let's see, the 4 main points that I had. Sorry, the time. Yeah, the time is like something maybe bad in the moment, but time will pass. Let's see if I have something else to help with. I guess just see there's a lot of terms where it's like when people say like, oh, like how are you able to control your stress and things like that? And the first thing that people say is, oh, I'm happy, or I feel happy. It's not enough to just say, just be happy, or it's not enough to just be like, I am happy, like all that, like, you know, all that sort of jazz. It's obviously small building blocks that people work towards in order to feel happy. Like, you may be happy, like, I'm so glad that you are happy, and that may be what you're experiencing in the moment, but you didn't get there by just being happy. Everyone has their own set of like things that they do to like help themselves feel more positive no matter what the situation is, and sometimes that doesn't just require the person to just simply be happy. So like I am fully aware that with mental health, especially how there's a growing number of like people who have negative mental health and people who are seeking like and are in need of like assistance, whether it's counselors, whether it's like mental hospitals, psychiatric wards, like even like insane asylums, like all that sort of stuff. Sorry, I don't know if that term is like it's a term that you can like sort of replace with each other, or if they're different like parts within like mental hospitals. I'm not entirely sure, but like psychiatric wards are usually what I call them, or mental hospitals. I know people also call it insane asylums. Please let me know if there's like a difference or if they're all the same. I will 100% do the research, but also like if you also want to tell me, that's pretty cool. Oh god, I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, it's of like with like the statistics just going higher and higher in like how many people are experiencing negative like mental health. It's not enough to just say be happy. I think it's really important that people learn how to put like these sort of like how to essentially practice that to be happy, because it's not simply just they're being happy, it's that they're doing something which is allowing them to build steps to enter that positive mindset. And I think with these sort of like with all this stuff that's happening and people in need more of like mental health like content and whatnot, it again linking back to what I was saying before, it makes me more driven to want to do this sort of stuff. And I guess it's like for me, because I really enjoy wanting to make other people happy when I myself am feeling good as well, it drives me to be like, this is truly what I want to do, and you can't like, I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to change my content. It's 100% I am here to show you guys like I'm confident in myself. I feel beautiful like inside and out. I feel pretty. I feel this. I feel that. And it's not just watch me be gorgeous. It's look at me being gorgeous. You're just as gorgeous as well. Like, and I want you to know that, whether it's the videos where I simply just remind you, hey, you're doing great things. If it's like me screaming it in your face, if it's even simply just like the little like step-by-step guides on how to be able to help yourself to reach that sort of more positive light and to be able to feel more positive, that's what drives me to do this. And I think it's really important that like people like seek that sort of stuff when they are in need of wanting to feel positively better, because unfortunately there are some people out there who experience these like negative times, and rather than wanting to help themselves, they instead feel like challenged by other people who may not be feeling the same like way as them, so they use all of their mighty, like they do what they can to make those people that are currently doing better than them fall down because of that feeling of like, I can't have people doing better than me because I may have an imperfection in myself, and I can't stand the people who either don't see their imperfections yet, or like see their imperfections and can somehow deal with them. And I guess that's another thing too. Like, I guess we can add that to the list as well in the dot points. There's nothing satisfying about bringing people down. If you are feeling negatively and you are getting like offended or challenged by those who are feeling like, even though they know their like imperfections, even though they know their challenges and they know like how like issues that they have, they are still able to overcome them and live a happy, fulfilling, positive life. And if you're the type of people that are sitting there hiding away, going like, oh, like, I can't stand this, I need them to feel bad as well, like I can't, like, they can't do, like, I'm insulted, I'm offended, I can't let this happen. You can reach that point as well. You can reach that point where you get better and you feel more mentally like well and positive. And I like, it's possible. It's possible. That's all I can say to you guys. It's like, there is nothing fulfilling about bringing someone else down with you when you're feeling negative, because what you're essentially doing is you're causing that pattern and that cycle to continue. And I guess with what I'm doing, I try to break that cycle, because unfortunately someone might not be physically there to help you, but with taking social media to its advantage, how I said that like people can find anything across the world. I want these sort of stuff to be viewed by anyone who may be like needing this sort of stuff. And I need you to know that it's going to get better and that you can work your way to like feel better and feel more positive and be able to like work your way out of these mindsets and bring your mind into a healthier, safer place where these feelings that you might be having towards a certain thing can change into something else. There is no benefit in wanting to bring someone else down in order to feel better, because it doesn't solve anything. You don't feel better. The problem is still there. And you've just now essentially caused new problems for that other person that you've attacked. Even like, you may not even know what's going on in their life. It might have already been bad, or maybe they were in a safe place and you've made that like place unsafe. Like, you don't want to be the reason that someone is experiencing something like negative within their mind, because you couldn't handle the fact that they were positive and they were happy to start with. It doesn't help anyone by spreading that negativity. And I think it's important that you just try and spread kindness and try and spread love, because it really doesn't take anything to do that. And I think it's important that we ended it off there, because I feel like that's probably one of the most important dot points in it. You can do things to make yourself feel better, but I think complimenting people and being happy to other people and seeing them be happy because of what you've said and what you've done, it just makes everything better, and it makes you feel great, because at least you know that you're doing something, even if it's small, to make to just bring happiness either within someone else's life, within a group of people's life, and it makes you feel happy too. That actually does help you to feel more positive when you spread that positivity to someone else. And yeah, I think we're going to wrap that up here. Thank you guys so much for listening. The stars were absolutely gorgeous tonight. They were sparkling a lot. There was one shooting star. So you know what I wished for? I wish for you to have one of the best days, like whether it's nighttime, whether it's daytime, whatever day is approaching. I hope you have a good one there. I hope the next 24 hours are one of the best 24 hours that you will have, and there will be more beautiful 24 hours in your life to come. I love you guys so much. I hope you slay the day away, besties, and you're going to do amazing things. And I hope that these thoughts that I've shared with you guys can really help you just to feel a bit more positive, because when you feel happier, other emotions that will try to take you down will feel more like you can tackle them and you can like help yourself to like be able to deal with them. Because sometimes with negative emotions or negative thoughts, it's not something that you can simply fix. Sometimes you may have to just acknowledge that they're there and just soothe them and help them to like sort of die down, so that you can go back to the positive person that knows, that has a strive in life, and that will just live every day like it's a good day. And I hope you do the same thing too, because every day will be a good day. Things will come by to knock you down, but you've got to remember that good days can become good days if you try. I love you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.